Hey guys, what's going on? This is Brad from the Ed Army, and I just want to thank you really quick before you watch part 5 of the How to I Budget series. And here we go, because this is really important to me, and this is day 6, so I just want to thank you guys before getting into it. I really appreciate it, trying to build up the sub count, but also building towards getting this channel bigger, and I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys, and please enjoy part 5. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an extremely expensive game, with decks and decors costing up to hundreds to even thousands of dollars at times. It can be a daunting challenge to build and play Yu-Gi-Oh! On a competitive budget. However, this is going to be something that I can show you that even with the minimal amount of money, that we can get there slowly and surely. And more importantly than that, we can show you what's the way to get there and the best way for you to save your money and also be able to play this game on a fine budget. As always, I don't want to just show you videos, or at least a video on how to build a deck that could easily be crippled or banned or evenly too weak to match into the metagame. So, as always, some of the criteria already for this would be not even buying budget decks past their prime or about to be banned, and also making sure that we make educated choices so that we can still play the game, but also not run our wallets empty. So, as today's video clearly shows, this is how I build, and this is the continued, because this is part 5, but technically it's a continuation of part 4. But I think part 5 is better because things can change, and some things have. First and foremost, since the last part when I was building Vanquish Soul, a few things happened. If I do remember correctly, YCS Dortmund had taken place a little bit while after. And Vanquish Soul has won, or almost won, the event, making it to second place. Really, really interesting to watch. As well as, me just making sure that I could finish this out. I was able to pick up some of the remaining cards that I needed. So this is what this part will entail as always. But also there are some interesting developments for Vanquish Soul. A new card, well, 2 new cards have been released for the archetype to support it. And pretty much, yeah, we've seen a lot of different decks enter the meta. Age of Overlord is clearly already out, so I will also talk about those. But more importantly than that, I'll show you what's happened since then and how close we are to finishing, because we are almost done. I'll have a little bit of caveats to explain towards the end. Nothing like major big caveats. It's just more of cards haven't come in yet. So here we go. As we go through our criteria, as always, for how I'm building, this is what I do. Usually, I set my budget for $25 at the most. It could be higher or less for you guys, depending on how much money you make. I've made that clear before, but for you guys who have maybe seen this for the first time and didn't see the other parts, please check out part 4 if you want to understand kind of the original idea of how I'm doing it, because I think this is the budget I wanted to set myself out on, because 25 is arguably more than enough for certain things. But as always, I said, if your wallet and if you got more money can afford it, raise your budget up, but always make sure you're living below your means when it comes to this game. I don't think anyone should be blowing their bank accounts out because they want to play too much. That's just kind of crazy to me. But yeah, also for me, I want my deck to be adaptable and flexible. I like to be able to tech it out, mess with it. I like to change it up to variants if I have to, depending on the strategy. Stuff like that, where I like to mix and match. Also, the cards, it should work with my existing or future potential cards. So that's kind of the one thing I do kind of like about the fact that the OCG exists, because we do have this weird thing where we are able to see the different sets coming in and out. So basically, if you want to pick up a deck that kind of sucks, but then support cards are coming that are going to make the deck somewhat playable, that's really, unique and cool. And vice versa, the same principle applies for side sets as well, or, supporting sets. Also, it fits a niche. I always think if you're collecting a deck and you want to be able to utilize it, make sure it fits a niche for you, because otherwise, why even have it if it's just going to be like all your other decks, just based on the premise of you'll get bored from playing it, right? So yeah, those are just all the criteria I followed, guys. Nothing changed. I stuck to it, so I kept the budget low. Yeah, the last time when I was talking about other videos as well for the engines and all the other types of videos on the channel that focused around buying stuff, that's kind of why this part took a little bit longer to do. That's why, like, I'll show you what I picked up since the last time the part came out, but that's why it was slower, because I didn't really want to go overboard with spending money, because it kind of defeats the own purpose of doing the budget, guys. You know, I'm not like a vendor or anything. I'll locally trade with certain people that I know. So at the most, that's what I do, and I'm not trying to like go too crazy, because life's been a little bit crazy for me right now and hectic, but you know, I'm trying to aim towards getting to some type of level where I do want to start going to like bigger events and going back to locals more often, just because I really like playing. It's just I haven't had the time, and I'm trying to find a way to like work it out in my schedule, guys. So I just want to put it out there. That's why it took so long for me to get this part out. It's just that a lot of things were going back and forth. It also, believe it or not, I had a really weird thing with shipping for a lot of my stuff. Like some things took forever to come, so that's kind of why. Even now, I wanted this to be like the last part for this before I did deck profile, but I'm just putting it out here now. Some stuff still hasn't come, so that has kind of hurt me finishing. But hey, we will have a deck profile, and I'll explain it a little bit later. But let's go into what I picked up already. So since the last time, in the following week, I believe this was week 5, I decided to pick up my last rosin, and I picked up what would be my second, or I think this is actually my third Mad Love. Yes, this is my third Mad Love. Luckily, funny enough, what happened was in the last part, if you guys recall, I did say that something happened where I wasn't going to be getting 2 of my Mad Loves, even though I ordered 2 from the guy. He had said that something had happened and I wasn't going to get it, but for some reason when I got it, I got 2 Mad Loves. So I don't know. I just kind of was like, all right, he sent me both. Maybe the guy ended up having 2 and just felt bad. So he sent me the other one anyways after he told me he didn't have one. I don't know. It was weird. But basically, I ended up getting my second Mad Love. So it kind of did change the pacing of things, because it did technically cost me like $10 for both. Like, that's one of the caveats I wanted to say. So I just added a $10 to it because, yeah, it was the case of what happened. So yeah, I put it on as like, it was an extra $10, so it was whatever. So, you know, it all worked out in the end. The guy still got his full money. I still got both cards. So yeah, it just kind of changed the outlet because it dropped down the price for 1 week. And then I was like, okay, well, technically I didn't find out till the following week. So I'll just add the $10 to this week, because then I ended up buying the last rosin. Luckily, it was only like $12, so it wasn't too crazy. But that allowed me to get basically 2 and then 3. And then now we have the third Mad Love here. So it really helped out. It was just like a weird thing for me budget-wise, because I was like, okay, I paid for it. The guy said I wasn't going to come. He was going to refund me. Then instead of refunding me, he actually found it, sent me both. Weird thing. Also, that was through TCG Player. It was really strange, but hey, you know, sometimes weird things happen, and you never look a gift horse in the mouth as long as that horse isn't, you know, trying to kill you or it's a bomb or something. So yeah, just putting it out there, guys. That was weird. It was weird for me for week 5, but that's what I ended up getting. I just got the last Mad Love through eBay. It was like $10, and then my last rosin off of TCG, it was like $12. So still trying to keep under the thing. With taxes, it was almost 25, which kind of like hurt a bit. But I'm like, hey, I want to build like a semi-competitive deck. Sometimes you just got to make caveats, and also doing it for you guys to show you what you're gonna have to do. Moving on to week 6, which is, as I said before, guys, I do my weeks as in 2 weeks intervals. So when you see like week 5, it's like 2 weeks technically. So it's like 5 and 6 because I get paid bi-weekly. So just letting you guys know. And effectively, we move on to week 6, which is like 2 weeks after that. This is going to be where I picked up my second Rock of the Vanquisher. Believe it or not, guys, Rock is arguably the most, depending, you know, outside of the exclusive rarities, one of the most expensive cards. And it really just depends, because I think if you're playing pure, you're going to be using 3 rocks. I don't think there's an if, and, or but on that. It's you should be playing 3 rocks, because you go through them really quickly, because rock is so useful for your strategy that at some point either you link climb or your opponent's going to get rid of rock, because if they don't get rid of rock, they're going to be punishing themselves. Like, they're going to get vanquished, no pun intended, because rock just keeps recycling. Rock keeps on summoning. After a while, the advantage you start to get with rock on the field is too much, and your opponent will probably want to get rid of it. So if you're playing against a more experienced player in this, against Vanquish Soul, they'll get rid of your rock often. So if you're playing pure, you're going to need 3. If you're going to play more of a like hybrid deck, and you're gonna like kind of mix it up a little bit, or you're gonna play with other engines like maybe synchro cards or whatever, there is some debate of playing 2 rocks instead of 3. Yeah, because there's just a little bit of difference there. Also, Pot of Prosperity adds its own level there. So I just want to talk about Rock because it really depends on what you're going to do. If you want to play 2, 3, whatever you want to do. You have to at least play 1 if you're playing it like as an engine. But yeah, just no, Rock is the most expensive. Rock by itself, I think, was like 15 or 16. And I bought that off of TCG or eBay. I'd have to double check. But basically, when I bought that one, I was like, okay, that was the amount for those 2 weeks. Because I just didn't even want to try it then. Because I was like, okay, too much. It's a lot. And there wasn't really much I could fit in because Age of Overlord hadn't come out yet. So, yeah, pretty much that's there. The current list, though, for what I've got is 3 copies of Borger, 2 Caesar, 3 Raisin, 3 Mad Love. I have 1 Pantera, 1 Pluton, 3 copies of Stake Your Soul, 2 Dust Devils, the 1 Continue, and the 2 Rock of the Vanquishers. Pretty much that's what I've got right now. There's stuff coming in the mail, of course. So that's kind of why I wanted to say I didn't finish this fully yet, because I did order 2 more Panteras. Not because I want to make a deck with 3. It's more of like I was planning on getting 3 anyways because they're really cheap. And I think it's a decent card so you can mix and match for, playing around. Also, Pantera honestly can save you guys. One thing that makes Vanquish Soul kind of weak is you're basically going to telegraph your plays because you're going to normal summon either Mad Love or Rosin to get its effects off. So usually that's a choke point. So that's one of the reasons you play Pantera, is that if your opponent finds a way to remove them from the field on your normal summon, it could really screw you if you don't have like Stake Your Soul or an extender, or even like continue to bring it back. So Pantera allows you to, at least on an open board, bring itself out for free and start playing, as well as getting into Rock without normal summoning, which is really powerful. That's why I'm kind of upset that the 2 other Panteras I got haven't come yet, just because I want to mix and match it. I'm not going to put it all in the profile because, I still want to like build a better version of it, but still, nonetheless, there's that. And to get the elephant out of the room, I did not forget Jiaolong and Snow Devil. They are on their way. They will be included in the series, so I did end up spending some money for Age of Overlord cards, not too many, because I wasn't trying to buy into any of the bigger engine decks like Horus or Dibel Star or Rescue Ace. Nothing like those decks where they have a lot of money invested in some of the new cards from Age of Overlord. So yeah, I ended up getting Jiaolong and Snow Devil. Luckily, they are pretty cheap. I think people are kind of sleeping on this strategy as a whole, just because a lot of the other decks got massive power bumps. But Vanquish Soul still got some pretty good bumps itself, like in Jiaolong and Snow Devil. So, yeah, I'm just putting it out there. The deck isn't dead or anything. It's just more like people are probably trying to figure out where this deck lies in the metagame. And kind of like I said before with this deck in some other analysis videos, Vanquish Soul's biggest strength is that it doesn't do anything too good to where like I think they'd warrant it being banned, but at the same time it doesn't do anything too broken to where like people would say it's unfair. So it's in the middle ground of like how good it is. Personally, I think Vanquish Soul deserves more respect as a deck when people play against it. Like some people say it's boring to play against it because they kind of know what the deck does. But a lot of times when you get into more advanced game states, the deck really shines because it has a lot of tools that really make like I think standard decks that kind of like build either boards or focus on like just building some way of like finishing the game. The deck has access to burning. It has really interesting removal in like both Raisin, Mad Love, and Pantera if you know how to use the effects properly. Caesar too, because he counts as a non-targeting one. But you have lots of interesting things, and now Jiaolong itself adds another dimension to the deck to kind of let you extend a bit more, but also giving you a better fire target than Pluton. So yeah, depending on how things go, I will make a list with Pluton and without Pluton. It just really depends how long it takes my Jiaolongs to get here, as well as the Snow Devils. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm up in the air for this part, guys. Though I'll have an entire breakdown of how much everything's cost me since I've started. Yeah, just because I want it to be fair to you guys to show you what it really takes, and this has like been over a process of time. So if any of you guys stuck it out to watch me build this deck, I wasn't going to stop. I wanted to make sure I got it done. It's just life kind of got in the way. So it's kind of one of those things where I want to tell you, if it happens to you, don't feel bad. It happens to everyone. You know, maybe you're going either through something, maybe you have some expenses pop up, you could lose your job, you know, something like that that really gets in the way of you being able to play this game. As always, I'll say the most important thing that you want to do is take care of yourself and make sure that you're not losing anything, you know, more precious than cards, because, you know, you can replace your cards, you can't replace your life. So if you're trying to enjoy stuff, you know, going on adventures, stuff like that, don't bang yourself up for it. It's really just something you do. And in the same light, yeah, that's pretty much what this part's about. I wanted to keep you guys up to date with what was going on with this series because I felt like it's been too long since I revisited it. And I have had a lot of like cards. So, you know, like, you know what I mean? I added the new cards to this strategy because I just was actually still building this deck. It wasn't like I was stopping. I just felt like it was good to finally like explain where I've been, because on this, at least, because all the other content's kind of swamped over it, and yet I'm not done. The budgeting series is going to continue. The moment that we get some more shows for the Rarity Collection, I have a few videos coming out about that, why I think it's really good for players to start budgeting around that. And ultimately, that's what I've got. This deck is almost done. So as soon as I'm finished, there will be a video coming out about the deck profile, 1, and 2, what it took to get there. I'm debating on should I wait for the a third rock or not, because originally I didn't want to play 3 rocks because I wasn't sure if I was going to play pure. I think you almost instinctively play pure at this point because pure is still the best. With now Jiaolong happening, it really makes the deck a bit better, because outside engines, outside of like Fenrir and Rise Heart, you don't really need to play any other ones unless you find some crazy way to do it. But point aside, I do think Vanquish Soul is still strong. I didn't stop making this video yet, the series, because it's still going on, and I can't wait to show you guys how we're going to budget, because with the Rarity Collection, things are going to be a lot cheaper and a lot more accessible. So just keep your ears peeled, I guess. I almost said, you said ears, but, you know, just keep your ears to the ground and listen. I'm also going to do another video about the budget series and basically how I would suggest people should go about it. But yeah, ultimately, that's what I've got today, guys. If you liked the video, obviously leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're building it, race to 100 subs, so I need you guys here. But yeah, this is part 5 of the How I Budget or How to Budget Yu-Gi-Oh! Edition, basically. And we have more videos coming out. So please enjoy for tomorrow, guys, the last upload for the weekly thing. And furthermore, I'm signing off. And for all of you out there to sign on.